Think mathematics is designed and written based on a set of learning theories. One of the important learning theories is by Jerome Bruner about the spiral curriculum. The spiral approach is used in the design of this series of textbooks. For example, in one of the grades, when students are learning about addition, the first lesson they had is about adding 213 books with 4 books, where they are focusing on adding the ones. In the next lesson, the problem is about finding total number of children, where there are 119 girls and 80 boys. As you can see, the focus is on adding tens. That's an example of spiraling within a grade level. Within the grade level, students get repeated opportunities to focus on one concept, that is a concept of adding things of the same kind, ones with ones, tens with tens. So they get repeated opportunities to focus on a critical central concept. However, each lesson has a small variation to the previous one. In the third lesson, in trying to solve a problem, students are adding 213 with 300, focusing on adding the hundreds. As you can see, students get repeated opportunities in adding things of the same kinds, and each lesson is a small variation to the previous one. In the first lesson, focusing on adding ones. In the second lesson, adding tens. And in the third lesson, adding hundreds. And in the fourth lesson, to continue with the idea of the spiral approach, students are now learning how to add 432 with 21s, where although they continue to revisit ideas learned in the previous 3 lessons, today the lesson requires them to handle both adding the ones as well as adding the tens. And by the 5th lesson, students now move to addition with renaming, where they are adding 236 with 8. And the lesson continues, but you can see that in a series of 5 lessons, how the spiral approach has allowed students to revisit a central idea, adding things of the same kind, and yet each lesson is subtly different to the previous one. This is an example of intergrade level spiraling, where in lessons within the same grade level, students get to spiral their learning. Spiraling also happens across grade level. For example, in grade 1, for addition, students get to do addition within 10. And several chapters later, they get to do addition within 20. And in the next grade level, they continue with the idea of addition, where you need to add things of the same kind, but they are now adding beyond 20. The addition is now within 100. And by the next grade level, they begin to learn addition of 3-digit numbers. That's an example of intergrade spiraling, where students, in moving from one grade level to the next, get another chance to revisit a central idea, but the lessons are not mere repetition. For example, in an earlier grade level, they deal with smaller numbers, and in a later grade, they get a chance to encounter the same concepts but using larger numbers. This is an example of the spiral approach that is used in Think Mathematics.